Bro, how old are you?
I'm 25.
25, man. And the
Yeah.
fact that you got this understanding of how it works already, brother, kudos. Definitely kudos to you in that regard. Prince Nelson in here. I see he's got a lot of love coming through in the comment section. A lot of folks coming in from Nigeria, rooting on the Prince. Also, everybody, we are fully entrenched into the Black Menswear BM and Co. suit line. So if you're looking for that custom suit, you know where to go. Check us out on Black Menswear. BM and Co. Menswear is the official line for Black Menswear for the suits. I see Ghana is represented in here today. I see a lot of folks in here from Lagos, Nigeria. I think we're good to go. Hey, there we go. Hey, got my man
Hi,
in here.
Neandre.
What's going on, Prince? How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, I'm doing well, man. It's another day on this side, so we good to go.
Yeah,
Ha,
nice speaking with you.
man, likewise, man. And I see, bro, before you even got in here, your army was in here just going for you. Well, hey, you guys, you're live on the check-in. I am honored to have this man as a guest. I love the fact that we're looking at Black Menswear's global perspective, right? And having my man all the way from Nigeria to jump in on with us, give us his story. Let's talk about these, successes as he's still a young man, but he's already kind of hitting some of those things on his way up. So I'm gonna let him do his own official introduction. For those that don't know Prince Nelson, let them know who you are, my brother.
Thank you very much, Neandre. It's a pleasure speaking with you. I've been a fan of the movements. I've been a fan of the brand for a very long time right now. Been following you guys for a couple of years, and the
Appreciate
work
you.
that you guys are doing over there is amazing. And I really, really appreciate the work that you're putting in. My name is Prince Nelson Onyedikachi Amwerem. I'm from Imo State, Nigeria, West Africa. A mother, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an actor, an event host, and definitely a fashion designer. I love fashion, everything that has to do with fashion. Yeah, and I feel like it's one of the ways that we express ourselves. It's one of the ways that
Yeah,
you're able to um, exude your personality.
yeah,
So
right.
yeah, it's a great aspect of who we are. So yeah, I enjoy fashion. I enjoy playing dress up and making clothes as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Now, again, brother, I appreciate you joining with us today here on the check-in. Our brand and our movement is all about changing the narrative, right? We always talk about this thing of, I look at, unfortunately, all the stuff that's going on in Nigeria, during this time, and we've all got to kind of like play our part in everything, right? So, I'm gonna pose the question to you. Uh, Prince Nelson, man, what are you doing to help change the narrative?
Definitely, especially I like to take it from an aspect of Africa and the way
Yeah,
Nigeria, especially, is seen in the global aspect, the way we're seen in in the eyes of the world right now. Every single time that talks about black men, African men, Nigerian people come up, it looks as if the media outside there is always trying to paint it in such a way
yeah,
that
right, right,
they make us look like the bad people. But
right.
then if you check the statistics and if you check all of the work that's been done, especially when it has to do with Nigerians in the diaspora, you see that we're doing a lot of positive stuff.
Yeah,
Where
exactly,
especially in
exactly,
the United States, we have
exactly.
in the medical sector, in education, in
Yeah,
entertainment as well.
yeah,
So for me personally, anytime that it has to do with changing, making an impression, I always try as much as possible to put out an image that portrays us in the best possible light.
yeah,
Always
right,
try to represent myself, my
right,
brand, where I'm coming from, because whatever we're doing right now and the world is watching, they're not watching you just as a person. They're watching you, and you're representing an entire race. You're representing
man. Yeah,
an entire
right,
country.
right,
So
right.
if that's how they want to see it, so every single time we get an opportunity to do something, we have to do it right. We have to try as much as possible to represent ourselves and put ourselves out there in the best possible light as possible, you
Absolutely,
know. And
absolutely.
that's what I try to do every single time.
Man, that's what it is. Like that's the key component that we often try to remember. It's like, look, you gotta represent not just you, but and some, you know, sometimes it is unfortunate, right? Just because, but it's unfortunate until we get to the point where we're like, okay, we've broken all of those barriers. We've made
Yeah.
them, you know, all those stereotypes are gone, whatever, you know, however that might be. But it's like until then, you like you said, you kind of always got to remember in your mind, it's like I'm not just representing me,
Yeah,
I'm
you're representing
representing,
an entire race, an
yeah,
entire country, you know, an
yeah,
entire people. So all the time, you always have to put your best foot forward,
hmm,
because you know that when, especially in like I said, in the outside world, when you have to deal with in Europe and America, whenever they see a black man, this particular stereotype that they're putting to you. So whenever
hmm,
you're out there representing, you always have to remember it's not just about me; it's about
yeah,
every other person that looks like me.
right, right, man.
Thank you
Um,
very much.
Now you 25, you out here doing your thing, you know, former Mr. Nigeria world, you know what I mean, out here
Yeah.
building up the fan base. Man, how did you and I love seeing the army. I've been seeing this army, right? Everybody's the army represent, bro. How did you get into entertainment, like acting and these kind of things? And what inspired you to go for it, even though I know you probably had some people saying, hey, you probably shouldn't do that or you probably can't do that. What inspired you and motivated you to really go into that?
You know, I believe that entertainment is a really the entertainment industry as a whole, and when I'm talking about entertainment, I'm talking about music, acting, and everything that has to do with art, you know, artistry
Hmm.
and putting out stuff out there. Um, it's a great weapon to use to pass information.
Yeah,
It's
right,
used
right,
to, you
right,
know, educate people. It's used to connect to people on a level that they almost can never forget.
right. Hmm.
Because I believe that there's a lot of movies that we've seen when we're kids that is still stuck in our heads. There's a lot of
Right.
songs that, you know, powerful, really powerful songs that we heard and it's stuck with us forever. So for me, I'm all about, you know, impacting in society and causing change. And
Right.
what is that one thing that, you know, you can do and it's not that stressful, you have fun doing it, and you're still able to, you know, impact everybody around you. And that's
Yeah,
entertainment. And
yeah,
I'm like, I
yeah.
want to do this. And you know, coming from a place where there was a particular time, and I'm very grateful that we've moved past that era, where it looked like if you're not a doctor, an engineer, a lawyer, you know, you're not going to amount to anything.
Yeah,
But we've
yeah,
moved past that
yeah,
era where
yeah.
people see musicians now and artists and footballers and all of that, and they're like,
Hmm.
I want my kid to be that, because now
Hmm.
these people are very powerful in the industry and they're doing a lot of things that, you know, are causing change. And for me, growing up, I was like, I want to do this. I want to use this weapon to be able to effect the change I want to see in my society. And
Hmm.
thank God, right now, a lot of young people are looking up to me, and I'm very grateful for all the positive stuff that they're picking up.
Yeah, and again, coming back to it, like you already know there are now people that are looking up to you for the model of what you're doing.
Yeah,
And you have, like you said, you have this opportunity to create change and in a way that we haven't been able to do before, right? Now that we have channels like this on
yeah,
social media and these things where it's like, you know what, if I can just be positive every day, how many more people are going to be positive just because I'm positive? You know what I'm saying?
of
And if I'm
course.
just putting that out there and they're taking that in and then they're now thinking better about themselves and their opportunities. And like you said too, how things are different now to where, like you said, you know, I had to be, you know, a lawyer, a doctor, or that to kind of see that
Mhm.
sentiment of success, or even, you know, a superstar or anything like this. But now it's like I can write my own because the
So
tools are
yeah.
now in front of me, right? I can make it how I want to make it because now I have access to a lot more information. I have access to a lot more systems that I can utilize to create something. And then I can spread it across the world. Like we're 9 time zones apart, but we're
Of course, of course. It's amazing to see how far, you know, all of this have come.
yeah,
And not
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
long ago, it costs a lot of money to be able to put across a call across from the United
Right,
States down to
right.
Nigeria.
True.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
and you can't even
yeah,
see. I remember, you know, when people had siblings and uncles and parents who traveled out, you
yeah.
know, you have to wait in line to be able to make a call, and those calls
Mm,
don't even last more than 5 minutes. But
mm,
now we've moved over to an era where, you know, you can just sit in the comfort of your room and you're talking to thousands and thousands of people,
right,
and they can see
right,
you and they can hear
right,
you.
right.
What can we do but not to use it for positive stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So now let me ask you this, man. So of course, you know, you're still developing, you know, your brand and building your brand and all of these things. To this point, right? Have you had any failure that's come along or something that's kind of hit you in the face, right? I don't like using the word failure because I
Yeah,
feel like it's only a failure if I don't get a lesson, right? I feel like
yeah.
anything that happens and it's something that slows me down or it might not have happened as quickly as I like it. It's a failure if I look at it and just like, well, that's it. But if I learn something from it, I'm like, well, okay, well, I didn't get this outcome because I didn't put pieces A and B together, you know. And then from then, now next time I do it, I know how to do it properly, and boom, I get the result that I'm looking for. When you think about the path that you've been on thus far, do you have what we like to call like a favorite failure or something that kind of flipped a switch, or it's like, you know what? Now I see where I'm supposed to go with this, or how I'm supposed to, or how I can do this even better.
Um, I wouldn't call it a failure. I'll call it a delay,
Okay,
something like
okay,
that.
okay. I
Because
like that. Yeah.
yeah, I'll call it a delay. So I was part of one of the biggest reality TV shows in Africa, Big Brother Nigeria, and it's huge.
Hmm.
Thousands and thousands of people, you know, audition for this stuff every year,
Hmm.
and only 20 people, sometimes 30, get to be picked over to get into the show.
Hmm.
And I had this hunger all this while to get on the show, you know. And for years, I watched it, I learned, you know, I tried to grow my craft so that I can be able to get on this show. Because if you
Yeah,
get on
yeah.
it, boom, you have the attention, the limelight for you to
Right,
put out
right,
whatever that you want to put out there.
right.
So sometime in 2016, I auditioned for the show, and I got to what was like the semifinals.
Okay.
But for some reason, the judge on the semifinals, so she looked at me and she was like, Prince, I think you're not ready.
Yeah,
And she told me to come back the next day because it was like a
yeah,
2 day
yeah.
audition stuff. She said
Okay,
I should come
okay,
back the next day.
okay.
And I was like, why? I've gotten this far, I've gotten to this point. Why do I have to come back the next day? She was like,
Hmm.
something is up. Just come back the next day. I left. I came back the next day, got to that point again. And she was like, you know what? I just feel you should go home. You know, you're not ready. Just go home and do something else. I was like, I'm going to go home
Yeah,
and
right, right,
grow.
right,
And I
right.
would come back and I would
Yeah,
get on this show. And she
right,
was like, if
right.
you were able to go back, become a better person, and come back, you would get on the show.
Mm,
I felt so bad. I went home. I was pissed because
hmm.
I had flown to another city to audition for that show. So I had to fly back to my city. And it wasn't up to a couple of months, and I became Mr. Nigeria. Then the next year, I went for Mr. World in Philippines to represent
Hmm.
Nigeria.
Hmm.
And in 2020, I got on the show.
Yeah, yeah.
And looking back at all of that, I was like, maybe this was the year. This is when I was supposed to get on the show because take it back 2 years before 2018 when I was denied to be on the show, I realized I wasn't that ready. So for me, it wasn't a failure. It was only a setback of go prepare, go get better
Yeah,
for
right,
this
right,
opportunity
right,
so that you can be
right.
able to. And I found out that in that time frame of 2 years, I was able to learn more stuff that
Hmm.
I didn't
Exactly,
know.
exactly.
And I had grown emotionally, you know, educationally and all of that.
Yeah.
And I was very grateful for that opportunity to be able to take that time back and, you know, re-strategize and rethink and come back for it.
You gotta process it, like you said. I think the thing too, and this is kind of one of those words that I got out of one of our previous talks we've had on Dapper Conversations, where one of the guys mentioned, he said, you have to prepare for what you pray for. right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if I've got this, if God's got this blessing that's going to come to you and you're not prepared for it yet, 2016, you might not have been prepared for what's going to happen, right? You might not have been ready for, okay, if I get on this show, how will I then be able to, parlay this or take this and turn this and use this to really inspire change, really create, a true fan base and educate that fan base, really be able to be this public image person. Because you look at, okay, now you're 25. At that point, you were 20. With the 20-year-old you be able to handle that
To
load,
handle all
right?
of that, yeah.
Yeah. And so, it was just okay, let me get a little bit more into my belt. And then now you come back. You say it along the way you were, like you said, along the way you were learning more, you were building more,
Yeah.
and establishing yourself in a different way. And now that you were able to be on that, and all of the weight that came with that, you were good. You were ready because you're like,
Definitely.
okay,
I'm in
I've
a
already been
really
on the
good
stage.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, like you said, yeah, it wasn't not a failure, just a delay. But
Yeah,
now,
definitely.
now you're able to walk into all of that. And you know what I'm saying? Now you're able to embrace all of that because you had a little bit more time. So that's, man, again, and again, what you said there was that it wasn't a failure, right? It wasn't
It
something
was
that
a
just
delay.
shut you down. Because some people could have been like, man, I done spent all this money. I done gone over here. They tripping. It's on them, whatever. And,
Sometimes people have to understand that I always try to look at the positive side of stuff.
yeah, yep.
When you try so hard and you do something and it looks like it's not working at the moment, it doesn't mean you should give up
Hmm.
because you only fail when you quit.
Yeah, exactly.
You only fail
Exactly.
when you quit. If you keep doing it, because I've had a lot of people who come into my DM or a lot of young people who ask me, "Oh, Kevin, trying to do this, I've been trying to do that, and it looks like it's not working." I'm like, "How passionate are you about what you're doing?"
Hmm. Right, right,
You get
right,
restructure that.
right,
The only time you have failed at that thing is because you stop. If
right,
you quit, then you have failed at it. But if you
right.
keep doing it, you're only getting better. The person
Yes,
that
sir.
invented the bulb tried
Right,
999 times,
right.
and when they asked him,
Yep.
he said he learned 999 times the electric bulb wouldn't work.
Yeah, right, right,
So he was
right.
focused on the positive and not on the negative, and that's
Yes,
what I try
sir.
to do every single time.
Yes, sir. And that again, that positivity makes not just you better, but it makes all those people around you better as well. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like it really does. And it allows you to really influence people for the good versus influence for the bad. I always look at it this way too. I'm like, if I'm not positive, it's likely that because there's enough negative energy out there, right? There's
In
enough
the world
negative.
already.
So why I gotta add to that? Like, let me add to the opposite of that. Let me add to the positive, because again, if you don't, and then even kind of like encouraging yourself and speaking to yourself and being positive, even kind of within yourself. If you don't, nobody else will, right? You can't rely on the other people to do that. You've got to at least have some basis to do it within yourself, um, because that's going to help you again to kind of continue to move along the path until then you're able to get to the point of accepting what's out there for you. So,
Yeah, of course, of
oh
course.
yeah. Now, I see you got the the drip on. I like the suit.
Oh,
Um,
thank you,
what
thank you.
what are you doing kind of within that lane to develop your craft, right? To get better, within the designer world.
It's been a journey, honestly. It's been a journey, getting into fashion and design, because it started while I was in the university, studying, and a lot of people when you're in school, you're just students.
Hmm.
You just focus on what they're learning in school and not trying to try other stuff. But
Hmm.
I am someone that I like to test my hands. I like to, get to learn this, and learn that. And, I was very fascinated at people being able to piece together different materials and outfit and make something phenomenal.
Yeah,
And I was like, okay, maybe I want to do that because that looks
yeah,
like fun. And there's a way that you dress that makes you feel good about yourself. It
Yeah.
makes you
Right.
feel like
Right.
I'm in charge.
Right.
And it started, taking different watching pictures online and trying to recreate those looks. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't great at first, but then over time you get better. The more you
Right.
try, the more
Right.
you get better. And trying to draw some outfits out, trying to create my own design, trying to inculcate other styles,
Mm-hmm.
because fashion is universal. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Right.
fashion is what everybody's wearing, but
Right.
style is what defines you.
Right.
It's how
Right.
you put your own personality into what you're wearing.
Yeah.
So I took the fashion and I gave it my style.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is evident in whatever I'm wearing today and how I dress today and how I carry myself. Because recently, I made something on the show become very popular, and that
Okay.
was a do rag.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a do rag because some time ago, not too long ago, just last year before coming on the show, do rags were mainstream in Nigeria. People they thought it was for
Okay.
gangsters and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
went on the
Yeah. Yeah.
show and I wore do rags with suits. I wore do rags with streetwear, almost everything. I wore it every day. Why? Because I
Yeah.
just loved it. And I came out of the show and I saw that basically everybody was wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
It had become something that was acceptable. Now, women were wearing it, older people were wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was trendy, it was fun, and being able to influence people with my style, and that was phenomenal. I felt
Yeah.
great.
Wow.
And
Wow.
you can tell that, you can also reach out to people not just by what you say, but also by how you dress
Yep.
and
Yep.
how people see you with what you dress and how you feel and how you carry yourself. They can decide to copy that, and also, like I said, putting out the positivity out there.
Yeah. Now let me, hey, you guys are here. We on the check-in. We got my man Prince Nelson joining us today, all the way from Nigeria. Um, I got two more questions for you. All right, I got two more questions. So one, is gonna relate kind of like again back to that style, right?
Okay.
How would you say, or how would you define your particular style? I know that might be a tough question, right? But
Okay.
when you think of your style, they say, "Oh, Prince Nelson, he's boom boom." Like what would they say your style is, or what do you say your style is?
I always like to define my style as Afro-cultural,
Okay. Okay.
because for me, I'm Prince Nelson. I'm from a royal background, um, and I'm from a particular tribe in Nigeria called the Igbos. And
Okay.
I'm very, very proud of my heritage, of where I'm from. So I'm always trying to throw in a piece of um, what of my identity, and that's where my
Mm-hmm.
tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Always trying to throw it in to whatever I wear. You know, trying to use. We wear beads. There's a particular fabric that is synonymous to my tribe. We call it
Mm-hmm.
the
Okay.
Isiago. It's called the Isiago lion head. So I've used that to make a lot of stuff. I've used that to make
Mm-hmm.
suits, to make there's something we call the senator wear. So throwing that into different kind of clothes, the suits, the shirts, and all of that, and always trying to put in something that says I'm African.
Yeah.
I'm African,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
Nigerian. We're using the Ankara material, like stuff like this. It says this is not the conventional.
Yeah.
This is African. This is where it's coming from. So like I said, Afro-cultural. So that anywhere I walk in somewhere, and I know that I'm walking in here representing people, representing an entire race, an entire
Yeah.
color of people, entire continent.
I like that Afro-cultural. Yeah, I like that. Take your spin, put your spin into the aspect of the wear.
Yeah.
That's hot, brother. That's hot. So, last question of the day, man. Last question, right? So, now, granted, you actually already have billboards with your face on it, but but I think some of those are more so brand sponsors, right? They put your face on it, that kind of thing, right? So for you, um, if you were to have a billboard and put your own message on it, right? your own statement, your own slogan, what would your message be to the world that you will put on that billboard?
Let love lead.
I like that. Let love lead.
Reason,
Yeah.
let love lead. Why? Because I feel like right now there's so much divide, there's so much tension in the world, there's so much hate going around, people, different races against each other. You know, we see what's going on in the United States. There's also a lot that's going on in Africa here, Nigeria as well, with different tribes, black men turning on each other, you know, and races turning on each other. But at the end of the day, we are humans first. We are humans first before we were anything, before we're black, before we're white or brown or orange, anything. If we are able to look at that particular fact and see that we have something in common, and that's our humanity.
Yeah.
And the moment we put love first, we're going to get past a lot of stuff that we're going through.
Yeah.
All of this divide will be gone. We won't have needs to go to war.
Yeah.
You know, we won't have needs to threaten each other. A white man will have to look at a black man and feel some kind of way, feel threatened. You know, with everything that's going on, we just have to exude love.
Yeah.
Because without love, there won't be racism. There won't be racism. There won't be ethnicity. You know, ethnicism, and so many things that's going on in the world right now. Once we are able to move past that stage and get to the point where we just love each other for who we are, we will do a lot better. We will excel at everything that we touch.
Yeah, man. That's
so let love lead.
Let love lead. I love that. I love it. Let love lead, man. It's a great, and it gets back to humanity, right? It gets back to the crux of. At the end of the day, I'm a person, you a person. You know what I mean? Like that's
because if you're looking at it, you see that right now. Especially, we see that happening in this particular time where we're in a pandemic that's ravaging the world. Every single person, it looks as if we have almost put away our different differences.
Yeah.
Because we're fighting a common enemy.
Right.
That's the virus.
Right.
So now countries are extending help to other countries. You know, you have a vaccine. Oh, can you give us? You think you have the code? Oh, can you tell us? You know, now everybody wants to get involved because we're trying to, you know, get over this common enemy. Although politics and all of that kind of coming in the mix, but then at some point, you are seeing that love, you know, that particular, we've gotten to that point where a pandemic has scared us so much that we're beginning to love each other and feel for each other. Because you come on Twitter and someone puts out, oh, I have a sibling who is sick with COVID. And you go through the comments, you see people of different races, you know, different beliefs and all of that. They are trying to show their sympathy. They're trying to show love. They're trying to send out condolences to people who've lost their family. And you wonder, do we always have to wait for something that is threatening humanity as a whole for us to unite?
Yeah, it's crazy that in order for us to get to that point, it had to be something that's global,
that threatening everybody.
Yeah, like that's crazy. But again, it just one thing about it though, it kind of like takes the blinders off our eyes so we can kind of see how people have truly been and how they've been feeling for a long time. But it's like when crisis comes, all that goes away. All of your, and then you just okay, this is something that affected me, my neighbor, my family, my business partners, strangers. It don't matter, when, and it's something that everyone, because, one thing about Black Lives Mattering, right? When thinking about that, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. For somebody that's not Black, oh, that's cool. I feel for y'all. I guess that's, I could, but when it's like something, well, Black Lives Matter and at the same time, White Lives Matter because they get hit by the virus too. And the Hispanic Lives Matter because they get hit by like they forget about all of that. Like, oh, that was cool.
Exactly.
And exactly.
Like, because when it's something that's affecting a particular race, you see everybody trying to distance themselves and be like,
Right,
that's
right,
that,
right. That's them.
that's their problem.
That's yeah.
You guys
Yep.
deal with your problems. When
Yep.
we were dealing with the whole Black Lives Matter and Black people from all over the world were coming to show their support for people in the United States with racism and all of that.
Yeah.
It looked like every other person was just like, okay, that's their problem. You guys deal with your problem.
Right.
But
right,
now it
right.
is dealing with, the pandemic came and is dealing with every single person.
Right.
So now everybody wants to get involved. So why are we waiting for something that is threatening humanity as a whole to unite? Why can't we just get past that and just be humans?
Absolutely.
Because that's the way it's supposed to be.
Man, I feel like we're kind of in good hands as long as we got young brothers like you leading the charge. We'll be in good hands. You know, it's gonna continue to get better because we're gonna make it better. You know what I mean? Like
definitely.
Our chances to do that, man. Now, my Prince, man, can you let the folks know how can they follow you? For those that aren't already following you, how can they see you? Get in touch with you. You got anything new coming out that the people can look forward to?
Yeah, definitely. I'm working on a couple of stuff right now. Some movies and stuff. Some new brands I'm working with. We're soon going to unveil, and my own personal. Oh, I didn't tell you earlier. I'm also into hairdressing and stuff like that.
Okay.
Hairdressing, barbing and stuff. So my salon is going to be opening real soon. We're working on it behind the scenes.
Nice.
And after that, launch officially my clothing line.
Okay.
So there's a couple of stuff. I believe that, despite the pandemic and everything that's going on, it's been slow 2020, and 2021 is looking like it's trying to get better, and then the second wave is coming. But we're trying to push through and get past every other thing, and I believe that this year is going to be great. So yes, that's a couple of things. So if you want to follow me on social media, at Prince Nelson and Wareham on Instagram, Prince Nelson and Wareham on Facebook, at Prince N and Wareham on Twitter. Those are my social media handles.
Prince, bro, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you just dropping the knowledge with everybody. We gonna, I don't know if it's gonna be 2021, but 2022, we're going to do a flash mob on the continent. All right. I don't know where yet.
Great.
I don't know where yet, but 2022 for sure. We're doing a flash mob, and it might be possible that we do 2 in Africa, but we're definitely coming to Africa for 2022 for the flash mob. And you're gonna be the first call I make. Say, hey, we get ready to come. So
definitely, I'll be looking forward to that. And watching the flash mob and reading about everything that you guys are doing over there, it's great. It's amazing, and I love it. Because Black men, we have gone through so much. We have endured a lot. And just the fact that we look the way we look and we are being racially profiled. And you using this avenue to portray and tell the world and tell every other person that Black people can look this way and act this way and carry themselves this way, and bring out so much light and positivity into the world is something that's amazing. And it's good so that the young people who are coming up, can see that there's a precedent that has been set and follow in that light. And putting out all the powerful flash mobs, the ones with the kids and all of that, putting out that positive energy, that message out there. We are here. That particular picture about the kid in front and all of you guys in the back and his hand were up like this. It sends a powerful message that says, for the younger generation, we are here. We got you. We got your back. And anytime, fall back on us. And I really respect that. And that was amazing. And anytime you guys are coming to Africa, I'm your man.
I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you, brother. Well, hey, man, you be safe out there. And, I definitely wish blessings for you for this year. And we'll be talking to you soon, brother.
All right. Thank you very much for having me. It was fun talking to you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.